That somebody's keeping it.
Oh, they're right.
Yeah.
Yeah. I still know what I'm doing.
Good afternoon, everyone. Town of LaPointe Special Planning and Zoning Town Plan Commission meeting, 4:30 PM, June 24th. Call to order, roll call.
Charles Brummer.
Jim Peters.
Come on, Sergeant.
Paul Wilharm. Public comment, less than 1 minute. Approval of previous meeting minutes, regular TPC, June 2nd.
Everybody caught the typo under 5B.
Yeah. Gold.
The golf course,
Yeah.
public golf course.
Yeah, great catch.
Only thing I found.
Then as it on the third page, on in the middle of the paragraph, it talks about signage and it says off direction, directional signs.
Yeah.
I think it's off premises.
Okay.
Directional signs. And I'm not sure on D5D. They're talking about holding tanks. The last couple sentences, I'm just confused on what's trying to be said. Maybe you could just clarify that.
I was asking about on the island. If we're like, because of how
Okay,
clumpy they are,
right.
are we gonna allow 10? Are we gonna allow 500?
Mhm.
That's what I was asking.
So that's on island.
And he said it has to do with permits, and so,
Sure.
you know, they should get rid of them.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Okay.
Thanks for clarifying that, Amy.
Mhm.
I'll make a motion to approve the regular PPC meeting of June 2nd. With the corrections noted.
A second.
Discussion, all in favor? Aye. Review, discuss, and possibly approve land use permit applications, including but not limited to, and the first one here is 1082 Middle Road, Susan Wright and Andrew Lager.
Given the issue I have on this one, Rich, is the fees. Repayment.
Yes, yes. So did the site visit. It's for an addition and an alteration to an existing structure. Everything was in order. I'm recommending a conditional approval just because I've received a check for the fees, but the fees are in excess of what's required for this. So I have an email into the contractor to get that corrected. But I want to hold up approval for that.
So no construction or land disturbing activity has taken place yet?
I haven't been out there since the site visit.
When was that?
Site visit was June 2nd or June 3rd.
Okay,
So just waiting for the right fees to be submitted. Everything else is in order. So my recommendation is to, and he's been, the building inspector was at the site visit with me.
on June 2nd.
Yes.
I have a question on the first page, it's saying the name of owner, Susan Wright and letter, and on page 5. I can see their name anywhere.
Yeah, so this lot was sold.
Oh,
And the property owner information is updated annually.
okay, so the Ronald Lowen, that's the property.
It is.
I'll move to approve the land use application for Susan Wright and Andrew Liger as submitted.
Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Zoning ordinance rewrite. Review the public hearing comments from May 20th and about that.
And as part of this, Jim had provided a couple of recommended edits that he and I met on yesterday, and those were distributed in your mailbox here at Town Hall, but also I emailed those to everyone yesterday.
That's what Charlie, one that you had brought up about the town board adhere to the ordinance when they make a decision on.
Yeah, and I see that was included in the May 20th, 2026 provision anyhow in that draft, so that satisfies my concern. And are we gonna go off of Jim's notes from 5/27/26? I have that page. I don't know if anyone else has that page, but you had about 7 or 8 things in there, starting with the residential district, talking about deleting certain language. One, I can read it if no one has it and go page by page. Okay, so in section, what you do have the May 20th, 2026 ordinance in front of you, right? That's what this is based off of.
I've got the April one.
Okay.
So if you could just refer to the pages.
Yeah, well, anyway, 3.5, you don't have the page written down, but it's R1 residential district, second sentence, it says delete for the most part. I was fine with that.
Okay,
And immediately after that, section 3.6 R2 residential district, first sentence, delete for the most part. I think those were concerns of George and Alex Hecker. I don't see a problem with doing that. And then in 3.9, I don't know if we're still doing this, but S1 shoreline protection district, conditional use said add healthcare facility outside the shoreline overland district. I'm not in favor of that.
that's gone.
That's gone.
Yeah.
So in section 5.5, you had signs requiring a permit, and you have 5.5A change to a permit shall be required for class C, class D, class E signs. Add 5.5D class E signs. And you go on to say a seasonal off-premise directional sign that complies with the following. 1, only 1 sign per business. 2, white sign 12/18 with black lettering and ordered by the zoning administrator. 3, displayed only from May 15th to October 31st. 4, a sign site determined by business owner and ZA to be installed / removed by town crew. And 5, initial fee of $300 and yearly installation removal fee of $100. And I thought we were just going to have some sort of a limited time event, and we were going to move on from all off-premise directionary signs, whether it's year-round or seasonal. So I'm not in favor of that. That's just my opinion. You know, it's been my opinion all along. So, and I
Might have some additional information on off-premise directional signs that.
Yeah, and so we've had some residents that have been, requesting off-premise directional signs. We do have it on under new business tonight. But I think this is a good place to talk about it because it is something that we're working through. So, in part of that, there's county highway, County Road H on the island is a county road. So I have been coordinating with Matt Erickson, who's the Ashland County Commissioner for Highways. And he's provided me some information on tourist-oriented directional signs. And we're in the process of going through that. He also provided me the manual of uniform traffic control devices and the Wisconsin manual of uniform traffic control devices, which includes signage. Now, the overall manual that's a federal program, the document's 1,162 pages. The Wisconsin version is only 87 pages. But those are things that we're looking for as potential options for property owners that do have businesses, home businesses or home occupations, that are outside of the business district. So Ashland County is open to those, through the tourist oriented directional signs. That's one of the things that we should talk about here and what would be acceptable or what would we deem appropriate.
Well, there's certain parameters where we would have to follow state law.
Yes.
But we don't have to follow state law. I think we can be more restrictive.
Well, I think we'd have to make that determination, probably get a legal opinion.
Well, otherwise we may as well just throw out the objective and purpose at the beginning of section 5 signs. 'Cause I know I've read it several times, and when you mentioned that there's several people wanting off premise directionary signs, how many are we talking about? 1, 2? I know one guy for sure.
Yeah, at least one. I've been having discussions with another owner, so I would say 2.
Because I've also had discussions with people on the island about this, and they do not want it. So take it for what you will, but I encourage everyone on the Town Plan Commission and the town board to read section 5.1, 5.2, and 5.3. I think it states it quite clearly. We don't want signs all over the place at every intersection.
Yeah.
Because I can tell you, it's going to be a cluster in the summer when you have people driving along, slowing down to look at signs. Not only that, it's more visual clutter at intersections. I think we have enough the way it is. And, you know, why did anyone move here in the first place? Because we didn't have enough signs?
No, but one of the things that people want to do is be able to make a living.
I know that, Jim, but again, home business, home occupation is not the same as a commercial use. And you have so many devices to your disposal now, your smartphone to find out where places are. It's not like it was 40, 50 years ago when I was growing up here. Times have changed. I don't know why we have to have all this cluttered of signage. And the one guy who's doing the most complaining used to have a business in the commercial zone. Should have maybe stayed in the commercial zone. I don't know.
Well,
I'm not trying to be funny. It's just a matter of fact.
yeah, well, he has a home business now.
Yeah, and because he has a home business, there's certain rules he has to follow.
Right.
And I think this is excessive.
Well, also, you look at the comp plan, and one of the things that came out of that was to promote businesses on the island so that people that live here can continue to live here and make a living.
Well, and one of the things in the comp plan too is that you want to keep things natural.
Right.
That's a main thing.
Yeah.
So where is that? Where is that?
It has to be a compromise. That's
Yeah.
why we're
Well,
not,
I think the compromise is not to have signs all over the place.
well, we're not allowing signs all over the place.
I beg to differ.
Okay.
And I know you're pushing on this for one guy, but I don't see this as wise.
I think it's more for the island residents and the people that come here. They want to be able to find businesses that are here, and the business owner, I mean, they want to make a living, and to be in an area besides the commercial district, which is very small and limited. If they're out and live somewhere else on the island and have a business, for people to be able to find that. I mean, we're trying to allow them to have one sign on the road that will help people get to their business, because not everybody is on the main road. I mean, if you're off of Middle Road or Big Bay Road, you're a little harder to find. And that's why I think that they should be allowed to have a sign on those main arteries directing them to their business.
Well, I guess we're going to agree to disagree.
Okay.
Well, Rich will look into the state statutes
And we do have our next regular TPC meeting a week from today. And, you know, I actually talked to the, you know, the Ashland County commissioner last week, and he provided me an email, and it's wading through that information and what the options are. And it's trying to, I think it's two things. One, and I understand your point about no additional signs. And Jim, I understand your point about having one, you know, sign along a main road that directs someone to a home-based business. And comprehensive plan is trying to support, you know, the people that are working here on the island, and so that they can stay here and working on the island. And, you know, maybe there's a middle ground here where we can figure out where, you know, we're not having signs everywhere, but we're having a sign in a specific spot that supports a very specific use, and that would then prevent, you know, from all of a sudden it's a sign farm. And so that's how I'm looking at it. And next week when we talk on this, it's meant to be what are those limited options are that prevent a signed farm, but also promote businesses that's in line with the comprehensive plan.
There's already a couple of directional signs and I'm not sure how they came to fruition, but one of them is that great big sign up on Schoolhouse, you know, directing people, to the Getcha Gumi, you know,
Town board approved that years ago.
did they?
Yeah.
So,
Well, it's going to, the sovereign nation of the Bad Rivers property. So I think that's how they handled that.
okay, moving on, anything else on the zoning reread? I'm sure there's a few things.
Well, let me finish up with Jim's, notes here under 7.37 procedure condition use. And I think this is where Jim inserted my requirement. It says currently reads unless the applicant waives the right to a timely action in writing within 30 days of public hearing, the town plan commission shall meet to consider the application and make a recommendation to approve or deny to the town board. Section 7 continues to place time limit schedule for the process, so no change was needed there. And didn't we go to 60 days somewhere in the conditional?
We did, and that was as a direct result of comments that were received during the public hearing.
Yep, so that's fine. 8.4 permit process change land use permit process. And I think that is what Glenn wanted. If the town plan commission does not act within 60 days of receipt of said application, the applicant does not agree to an extension, it shall be deemed denied for the purposes of blah, blah, blah.
Appeal.
Mhm.
So I guess that was added.
Yes.
And then under 15 complaints, change 15.1C to inform complainant a minimum of every 60 days about the action taken on submitted complaint, change 15.1C to 15.1D. I assume that took place. I just wanted to go through your notes from the 27th.
Yeah,
Right, and these are ones that were, these were on the agenda for the June 2nd meeting. I mean, the point of today, just in my mind, is to come to an agreement on these final changes. You've heard me use the phrase, pencils down. I think we're at that point or getting close to it, and I defer to TPC to, are we at a point where the changes that we've made, those are final? We stop review. There's always going to be things,
Coming
a
up.
year from now, 2 years from now, that are going to be coming up that we just don't see coming today. But it's to get it where it's final, where it can go through town board review, legal review.
Well, legal would be next.
Legal would be next. And then town board review and adoption. So that's really the goal, is if it's not tonight, on July 1st, which is a week from today, to get TPC agreement that these are the final changes and it is ready for legal review.
Well, I did have one question on the map for the proposed mixed use. I always thought that was going to be out at Miller Farm Road on Middle Road. Your map, got it going about 3 or 4 plots past that. I don't know why, but in all of my notes, it's a comprehensive plan. When we dealt with it, was going to stop at Miller Farm Road because it seemed like the natural place to stop. And across the street, I figured that would include what Clay and Claire's property is, which used to be Elmerney Lane's house. So instead of going all the way out to here, this is Miller Farm Road, stop there.
you almost have to look at the map. Charlie has it, not gonna be able to see it.
It's not a huge change, but to stay consistent with what we had discussed in the past, especially on the comprehensive plan.
Okay, thank you.
So shorten it just a little bit.
The companies with that,
5 or 6. They're all houses now anyways, homes.
but that would give them the option. Yeah. Additional businesses that are what we are.
Yeah, but if you look at the comprehensive plan, we did this, all the notes, it was to stop at Miller Farm Road. So we arbitrarily now are extending it past Miller Farm Road after going through the comprehensive plan procedure is beyond me.
Well, the comprehensive plan is just a basis for what those people that put that together, saw as a good stopping point. Whereas we're looking at it maybe from a little different point of view. I mean, we're considering the comprehensive plan and what they recommend, but we think that it would be best to expand it a little bit. That's our prerogative.
Where does sewer end?
Pardon?
There is no sewer out there. On Middle Road, there's no sewer.
No?
Holding tanks. The high pressure main goes through here and then up past, before you get to Chucky's mini storage. That force main then goes out past the airport, behind the airport and into the lagoons out there, so.
Well, I think it should stop where everybody thought it was stopping during comprehensive plan.
Wow.
That's what the public heard.
Yeah, that's why I thought Miller Farm Road, why it went past there a few more plots. I mean, it's Chucky and Elaine's two houses, and then actually it's, I think, up to my brother's house, which is this long, narrow lot. But it's all residential. I think it should stop at Miller Farm. That's what we had talked about. If you don't believe me, you can go back in all the notes and take a look. But it was never talked about going past Miller Farm Road at this stage because we wanted to see what would happen with this kind of as a test area before extending it any farther. Because again, like my comments in the past, believe it or not, there's some people in a residential zone who bought houses and property to enjoy peace and quiet and have a residence. I'd like to see it stop at Miller Farm Road for those reasons.
I don't have a problem with that.
Can I see that? I'm sorry.
Yeah.
So I just want to match it up with.
That's what we came as to a consensus. That's what was presented, like Amy said, so.
Well, yeah, any property owner in path there might have come to those meetings and complained if they had an issue with it. So we'd have to have another public hearing if we were gonna change what we said before, in my opinion.
Yeah, they might have said, hey, great, you're stopping at Miller Farm Road, you ain't going out any farther.
Right.
Yeah.
That's what I'm saying. Like property owners path there.
So it looks like you're removing about 5. Is that?
Yeah, just from what your line was originally, it's just 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, yeah. Maybe
6.
6. But that on the corner is Helga Russell anyways, and that property hasn't changed. The grass gets cut, that's about it, but. Yeah. We on board with that?
Well, at least we didn't talk about any additional signs for mixed use.
I don't think it's a big deal if it's after Miller Farm, but no. So I think that's fine.
Yeah.
You see any reason, actually?
I
I know when we first looked at this, we had tried to extend it out as far as we thought was reasonable. And that's where we came up with a stopping point for, the comprehensive plan specifically says that we'll monitor the stop at Miller Farm. They should, we're not.
But except for hammering out something for this direction, I whether I think I'm fine. I think I had questions over whether we should include what Mark Weir had for height, but I think what we have now is adequate, just as good. So I'd just leave it alone after reviewing it again. Unless anyone else has a different opinion.
No, because we took that from the county.
Yeah,
We thought that was.
I mean, what Mark
Yeah.
Weir submitted, I think was also good, but why change something that's not, why change something that's not broke?
Yeah.
So next steps. We had the public hearing on May 20th. We had a list of modifications dated May 27th. So that was in preparation for the June 2nd meeting. And then we had these 2 comments that I think at least one of them's been included. And changing this. So it's taking the May 20th document and making the edits from May 27th, which is really June 2nd, in this latest sheet and modifying this, and then it's draft final. So if I make those changes between now and July 1st, get them to, there's not that many. Get them to you a day or two before then. Then at the July 1st meeting, you
Can approve.
approve it to go to legal, is that?
Mhm.
Right. Do you think you'll be able to review state law issues as far as signs go so that we can align this
It's
zoning
on my
rewrite
list to do.
with
Yeah.
that in time?
Yeah. I mean, I think we walk into that meeting with that's the only section that we would potentially change. And we could make that change
Right then.
very quick.
Okay.
One last thing on page 66, page 66, under 5.53, we talked about limiting sandwich board signs to one because there was never a limit on that. It just seems kind of worded clunky. It says no more than one freestanding sign per business. Sign may be attached to a building facade. I don't think you're going to attach a freestanding sign to a building facade, or may project more than 4 feet beyond it. I think it would be better to take this out, Rich, where it says freestanding sign per business, and move it down here before feather flags and say no more than one freestanding sign per business, because up to that point, it's talking about freestanding signs may display between only the hours of 8 and 8. I think where it was inserted here gets kind of grouped in with an illuminated or non-illuminated sign attached to a building. And a freestanding sign is not going to be attached to a building. It's freestanding.
Okay. Yeah, can I, after the meeting, can I make a copy of this?
Yeah.
Okay.
That's the only other thing I noticed.
Well, that's a good catch.
I'm more than just a pretty face.
And Paul, can we move the binder? I want to make sure that everyone can hear.
Oh, okay.
Thanks.
So Charlie, mostly it's just one sign.
Yeah, but the way it was written in that section, it sounds like it just is out of place where it is, I think. We'd already discussed that about having one freestanding sign or sandwich board sign per business, that someone sticks like 10 signs in the front yard.
So the whole, you said something about attached to a building arcade.
Well, if you read it now, the way it states, it says not more than one freestanding sign per business. Such sign may be attached to a building facade or may project more than 4 feet beyond the building when attached thereto. How do you attach a freestanding sign to a building that's freestanding? I thought a freestanding sign was supposed to be a sandwich board sign. Because it even says freestanding signs, e.g. sandwich boards, shall not exceed 8 square feet, 4 feet in height, but we never had a limit on them.
Good, 5.53.
5.5B, B as in boy, 3,
Okay,
on the bottom of page 66 from the May 20th, 2026 draft.
okay, because my copy doesn't coincide with what you have.
Oh,
He has the April.
And yours is May and
May
then,
20th,
I
yeah.
have April too.
You
yeah,
want to see it?
yeah.
Pass it over.
Do you want to see his? And see if you like,
I know we've,
how-
well, we've had a lot of,
Priorities.
huh?
do you want to see how the April one was and see? if-
No, I've got that here too. I'm sure it was different because we changed that after April 1. I know we've had a lot of drafts, so, it's
Oh, yeah, I don't know how that got in there.
not a big deal.
That's goofy.
Yeah, it didn't read.
I mean, the way it was before makes more sense than the change. But yeah, Rich is gonna get, you're getting a copy of that and we'll look
Yes.
at it and we'll straighten that out.
Okay.
Any other comments on the zoning rewrite? Rich has got a little update on the Sixth Street vacation.
Yeah, this will just take 30 seconds. The public hearing is on schedule for July 8th for the Sixth Street vacation. It was published in the Ashland Daily newspaper last Thursday, will be published tomorrow. And then next Thursday, because it's required to be published the 3 weeks before the public hearing. It's been posted around town as well. So there will be an agenda, posted probably near the end of next week, but it will be here July 8th at 5 p.m.
Thanks. Healing Motion conditional use permit discussion and next steps. I know we had that idea about having it donated to the town. What was the actual government zoning district that it would be?
Yeah, it would end up being under government and institutional district.
And is that what the airport is now?
I think the airport is in industrial.
The airport's got its own zone.
It's
Right.
industrial?
Yeah.
And so what you have in your packet today, it's 2 pages. One that the first page talks about the existing condition and what potentially could be done being off the south side of the lot. And the second page, again, is kind of a illustration of that property and just a proposed framework. This isn't meant to be the end all be all, but and legal review would need to occur with legal fees being borne by the existing property owner. But this is just, a proposed framework for TPC to discuss tonight. That was kind of
It would also take a map change, right?
yes.
Mhm.
Yeah, and this isn't meant to include every step. It's just the framework, and if everyone is in agreement with the framework,
And a map change would require a public hearing.
yes.
So it mentioned something about the existing unit and accessory structure. What's the accessory structure?
Solar,
Oh, okay.
the solar array.
Is there an outhouse there too, or? I thought there was. That must be the accessory structure,
Yeah.
the latrine?
Yeah.
How does the applicant feel about this idea?
We haven't seen this, but
And I've spoken with Rich and gotten the overview and the concept we are in favor of. Of course, devil's in the details, as I said to Rich, and so we have a couple of concerns, of course, but and they're simple, they're not anything complicated. We would just want to make sure that the property would be reserved for the use of the Healing Motion Wellness Center while the board of directors wanted to continue a wellness center. If not, we assume the buildings and the structures would get donated to the clinic somehow to be used for healthcare on the island. It's really the gist of it.
Yeah, there's a lot of legal details to figure out, and I don't see any problem with dealing with those down the road. Right now, it's more that if we come to a consensus with this, that we'll recommend to the town board.
Yeah. It's thinking outside the box. So. Anybody have any thoughts?
Well, I guess I'd rather see it approached this way since it's in, close proximity across the road to other town land. It's not as though the property is at the head of the island or anything like that.
Yeah, so it's not like it's spot zoning.
No, but at the end of the day, I think the town is being more than accommodating on this because the applicant did sign off on a conditional use permit with 2 conditions. One was to adhere the requirements for a home business, and the conditional use permit will expire upon transfer of the property. Apparently, both of those are out the window now, so
Well,
I guess it's the best of a bad situation.
I with those.
Huh?
They still have to comply with those conditions. They're not out the window.
unless it's.
Well, I mean, here are the requirements of the home business and a home business is attached to a home gym, last time I checked.
Yeah.
So if this is a
Yeah.
separate, yeah, but this is gonna be on a separate parcel.
Right.
It's not attached to the home.
Well, then the whole CUP
It's
is
gone.
not.
Is gone.
Right.
Well, yeah, but whatever, guys.
No, but what?
No,
I don't
no,
understand.
I'm done. You know, it gets frustrating making exemptions for all this stuff over time and time again. You know,
Well, like you say, the times are changing.
yeah, I know. Unfortunately. In some cases. I'm just pointing out the town is doing a huge favor.
Well, they haven't done it yet.
No, but they will.
Well, we don't know that. We
Yeah.
can assume that. I mean, we can't assume any recommendation we give to the town board is going to be followed through. We know that.
Yeah, that's
for sure.
For certain things.
There's a whole lot of people that think the applicant's the one doing the favor.
It can go either way, I guess. I'm just saying from sitting up here, you know, I would have rather have seen this stay in place the way it is, because this is what it was granted upon, these conditions. And we are changing that.
We're not changing the conditions.
I think we are.
Okay.
Well, do we have a consensus to move forward
Mhm.
with this concept?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay. New business signs, I think we talked about that up in old business, so unless somebody has something to add.
You do want it? You want it? Sure. Okay.
Thanks, guys.
Future agenda items?
So right now, for next week, we have, I think 5 land use permits on McQuigg Road, to as many as 8.
Okay.
So we'll put that on there. And then the zoning ordinance rewrite, have a draft final review. And then, of course, signs.
Right.
You know, getting some more details on what may or may not be added.
Okay, perfect, great. Extended public comment, Paul?
And you have to raise money in, it's like last night, thanks to. I'm Sharon's there.
Reputation precedes you.
He said, and my brother, someone that owns property at Middle Road, just past Miller Farm Road. I don't want to see my property rezoned, mixed use. I'm against the whole mixed use concept. It's gonna get abused. Someone thinks it's gonna be this magical C1 zone. It's mixed use is not C1. You're fooling yourself. You think it's gonna open up all this commercial development for poor people. It's not. It's gonna get abused. If you think that's gonna happen, it's gonna help out the underprivileged, you're a damn fool. You're screwing this place up, you idiots. That's your thinking. You're a damn fool. I don't want to keep it at Miller Farm Road, and if you're gonna screw it up to there, don't screw up my land, you damn fools. Hey, that's been in my family since the turn of the last century.
Times are changing. You missed the report.
Yeah, I know, times are changing and it's going down the toilet.
Thank you, Paul. Next scheduled meeting.
Sorry, I have a comment too. This is Alex. Sorry to interrupt.
Hey,
And I'm not going to come on camera because I'm in the dark in Italy right now. I just had a comment regarding the zoning ordinance rewrite. I'm a little late to the party on this, but I'm looking at section 3.8 regarding the R4 residential district. It's page 28. And there's a crossed out section regarding parcel number 014-00199-0000 that had been reserved for development by the Affordable Housing Committee and approved for such development by the town board. The development will expire on 1/14/2028 with the option for extension by the town board. I'm concerned that that is crossed out in this document. I know this is not a question and answer segment, so maybe I can reach out to Rich and get some more information about why that's crossed out. But if we look at the comprehensive plan, page 18, it does mention the town, as far as action items, the town committing to donating town-owned land, selling town-owned land, and donating proceeds for the development of affordable housing, modifying zoning as appropriate, exploring funding sources that are available only to public sector entities, and seeking donations via viable privately held parcels. I know when we were going through the comprehensive plan process, this was seen as a boon to possible affordable housing on the island, that town-owned land would be made available, and I'm concerned that it has been removed from the ordinance.
Alex, this is Charlie Brummer. How you doing?
I'm well, Charlie. It's good to hear your voice.
Good, man. Likewise. I think the reason why we crossed that out more than anything was not to have that date be like an end all, that this could, as of 1/14/2028, that would be it. So do you think we should just cancel out that last sentence and leave the prior sentence in there, that this district has been reserved for development by the Affordable Housing Advisory Committee and approved for such development by the town board? Because the town board may find another parcel that's also suited for R4. We just didn't want to kind of hamstring ourselves into a corner on this. And I think, and I'm speaking for myself, I'm not speaking for everybody, but I think that's the reason why we took it out, was to give the town a little bit more leeway in case the R4 district, which was up by the fire hall, wouldn't work out and say somewhere else. Or if the town somehow obtained other property or was gifted land somewhere else that was suited for R4, okay, we can have a map change there. Otherwise, this is saying that that parcel is the only one available for R4 and that it expires on January 14th, 2028.
I would agree with Charlie, because by depicting a specific parcel number, it kind of
Limits.
tends to delegate spot zoning, which is something that we don't want to get into.
Does that make sense, Alex?
Yeah, do you mind if I respond? I don't want to take too much time, but I think, Charlie, from what you were saying, if removing the expiration date is the concern, I would think removing that last sentence would be appropriate. I am trying to remember when we were talking or when we were doing the comprehensive plan, thinking that a date would provide some pressure, but I do think it's important to note that parcel is reserved for R4. I don't think there's any other R4 zoning on the island as of right now. And looking at the most recent zoning map that I found, I didn't see any R4 even listed in the legend. And that I'm not sure if that just hasn't been updated since 2024. But I would be concerned if that entire portion was removed. I'd like to see that that parcel number, even if it is, I don't think things would be hamstrung if there was a parcel listed as possible for or reserved for possible development for affordable housing.
Yeah, we just don't do that in any other zoning district. We don't mention the exact parcel number in any other district. So maybe that's why we wanted to, and I don't think it's preventing anyone from developing that R4 up by the fire hall for the residential, units, let's say. We just felt, I think, as a group that, this could also be somewhere else. Maybe the town decides that's not the ideal spot, but another spot is fine with R4. And we just didn't want that confusion of just limiting it to that one parcel, that one LP number up by the fire hall. That's all.
Mr. Chairman,
Yes.
this is extended public comment. If we should have discussed this back when the zoning ordinance changed. It's not on the agenda. We should not be having this discussion.
Paul?
I appreciate your time.
Thanks, Alex.
Thanks, Alex.
In regards to signs, particular specific, well, let's quick thing on signs, specifically off-premise directionary sign. please remember that way back in the sixties, Lady Bird Johnson had that campaign to clean up blight along highways, billboards, that kind of stuff. And I'd hate to see if someone has this idea of having highway signs directing to businesses, bringing that back after Lady Bird, other people after her was big on cleaning up that stuff, bringing that back. As my brother eloquently said, there's so much more technology today to direct people to a business, and I'm in the minority. I don't even have any kind of cell phone technology whatsoever. But for crying out loud, I got a friend whose granddaughter at 6 years old is playing around with a smartphone and can figure out how to use it far better than I can. It shouldn't be that hard to find WOW or any other business nowadays. Using a directionary sign really shouldn't be necessary this day and age. That's it.
Thank you.
Maybe we could put the R4 on the agenda for next week.
Good idea.
Okay. Next scheduled meeting that we were talking about, July 1st, 4:30 PM, and we're adjourned. Thank you.
Thanks, Chair.
Thank you. Have a good night.
Yeah, I'd like to see Heidi.
Bye.